Hi! In this video I'm gonna let you know 3 ways that help me develop my self-trust and hopefully will help you as well. Now, what do I mean exactly by self-trust? Well, by self-trust I mean your ability to tell yourself you're gonna do something and then you actually doing it. In my experience, self-trust, just like self-confidence, is something fluctuating, so it's never just steady, but it's always moving up, down, and up and down, and up and down, and that's quite normal. So if something like that happens to you, do not worry, that's okay. It's way easier to destroy self-trust rather than build it. It takes months and sometimes years to develop, and it requires constant food. It's directly related to what you think about yourself, your self-esteem, your self-worth, your self-value. So let's dive into the 3 ways I was talking about. Number 1, develop your discipline. Give yourself promises and deliver on them. Okay, so the algorithm is this. It's pretty simple, but it's actually hard to execute. So the first thing is you are giving yourself a promise and then you deliver on it. That is the hardest part, of course. And then after you deliver on it, you think about yourself, wow, I'm actually strong. I can go through it. I didn't think I can do this, but now I know that I can do this. And that gives you hope that you can take even more responsibility and go through even more difficulties and be even more successful. And that gives you self-trust. Now, a very important side note that I want to mention is do not worry if your progress is not linear, if your discipline level is not steadily growing. It's not supposed to go like this. It's more like this, then this, then this, then this. It's more like a zigzag kind of motion. So don't worry if it's not linear. That's actually normal, and you should expect it, especially in the beginning. As Greg Plitt put it, mistakes are part of the recipe of success. Mistakes are only mistakes when you think they are. Mistakes are only step backwards when you think it is. But it actually can be the opposite if you just change your interpretation, change the way you look at it, change your reaction to it. Mistakes can be very beneficial and actually the key to your success because they teach you a lot more than your successes sometimes. Mistakes give you knowledge. Mistakes take away your anxiety because the second time you're going to do something that the first time was a failure, the second time is going to be easier, right? You're not going to have so much anxiety and that will cause you to perform better. Mistakes are not enemies. Mistakes are actually friends. The reactions to these mistakes are our enemies sometimes. John Mayer has a song called The Heart of Life, and in that song he says that fear is a friend who's misunderstood. Well, in this case you can apply it directly to mistakes because mistakes are actually our friends who are definitely misunderstood.
Mistake is a friend who's misunderstood.
I'm gonna voice an unpopular opinion, I think, and say that mistakes should get a little bit more credit than they actually do get. Because there's a reason why Michael Jordan said that I failed again and again and again, and that's why I succeeded. That is kind of strange for a usual person, right? Because mistakes are usually something that you want to avoid, and he is like the opposite. He likes mistakes and he credits them for his success. He says that thanks to them he succeeded. Well, maybe that tells you something about the mistakes, about the possible reactions to the mistakes that you can have. Maybe Michael Jordan can be an example for you of how can you change your reaction to these mistakes or mistakes. Are they actually mistakes or maybe they are stepping stones? Well, you have the power to decide for yourself. And Michael Jordan knows exactly what he's talking about because he had so many mistakes in his career. Actually, in one of his more popular quotes, he mentioned that he lost more than 300 games. He missed more than 9,000 shots and 26 times he was trusted to have the winning shot and he failed it. Nevertheless, he said that I succeeded because I failed over and over and over and over again. Number 2, challenge your beliefs. Now, a lot of the times behind a lack of self-trust, there are some underground subconscious beliefs that are running the show, actually. And these beliefs might be, I don't deserve to trust myself. I cannot make good decisions. If I trust myself, there's something bad that's gonna happen. I cannot make sound decisions on my own. I will feel threatened if I trust myself. I will feel insecure if I trust myself. Now, why beliefs are so powerful? Well, because they govern our interpretations. Interpretations are influencing our emotions. Emotions are influencing our actions, and actions are influencing our results. So beliefs are actually influencing directly our results. How do you change your beliefs? Well, one of the great ways is to use those 5 questions made by Katie Byron. Katie Byron wrote a fantastic book. It's called The Work, and in that book she outlined exactly how this process goes. For example, let's say that you responded right now to somebody in a way that you don't really like, so you feel a little bit embarrassed and you wish you responded in a different way, but you don't know what to do about this and you feel really bad inside. So the first step is we need to identify the underlying belief, and we need to put it in the form of should. So usually those beliefs work as an underlying subconscious rule that we must follow, and when we don't follow, then we feel bad inside. But let's identify it first. So I should respond in a way that is cool, that is good, that is not embarrassing. Or for example, I should always know how to respond, where to respond, in which way to respond, and so on. I should be perfect, in other words. And here are the 5 questions from The Work. Well, the first question is going to be, is it true? So you might respond, for example, yeah, sure, it is definitely true that I have to be perfect, that I have to know exactly how to respond in this particular way or in this situation. Well, if that's the answer that you gave, don't worry, because the second question is really going to clear it up. Okay, now the second question is, are you sure 100% that this is true? And this question is really going to clear it up, because now you have to challenge yourself really, and you don't definitely know whether it's true or not, right? One of the fun ways that I'm thinking about is, okay, so imagine that when the universe was created, on the sky there was a big blackboard, and somebody wrote your name, and that in 2020 there's gonna be, insert your name, and he or she is supposed to or should do blah blah blah. And is it true? Well, now it's really obvious that it's not true, right? Or let's say it's true, but you still don't know if it's 100% true, right? Because you haven't been in the beginning of the universe, right? You cannot verify it, right? You cannot just go back in time and then see everything the way it started and then see whether it was this way. Okay, so the third question is, how do you feel inside when you think it's true? And in this case, you might say that I feel stupid, I feel embarrassed, I feel like I should do something that I'm supposed to know how to do, but I'm not doing it. Yeah, I just feel inadequate. And now the fourth question is, how would I feel without this feeling? And your answer in this case might be free, not wanting to guilt myself anymore, and just happier. Okay, now the fifth question is going to be this: what is the reverse of that? And that is going to be your antidote. So in this case, it might be, I should not be perfect, or I should be imperfect. Just think about this and use these 5 questions whenever you feel there's something staying as an obstacle between you and your self-trust. One note I would like to mention is the fact that you might want to repeat this question sometimes, especially in the beginning, since you are a beginner, right? So instead of just 5 questions, you might ask, the same questions over and over again. So it might be sometimes even 4 or 5 rounds of those 5 questions. Just do whatever you feel is necessary until you bit by bit systematically get rid of the influence of that belief on you. Because sometimes beliefs might be pretty powerful, and let's say they have 20 points of power, and the technique that I taught you right now can eliminate only 4 points at a time. So that means that you need to repeat this technique 5 times so that you eliminate those 20 points. And only then it's going to be less impactful on you. Okay, moving on to the last point, and that is developing a positive self-talk. Okay, why self-talk? Well, because self-talk is basically like a hypnotist. Sometimes this hypnotist might be loud, sometimes really silent, but it's always really powerful. Why powerful? Well, because repetition, repetition, repetition. And what it's basically doing is giving you suggestions. And what are suggestions? Well, suggestions are command for action. And then you're going to do anything in your power to see this suggestion come to fruition. Okay, so when you don't trust yourself, you are usually having a bad negative self-talk in the background. And this negative self-talk is giving you suggestions that will push you towards making action that will ensure that you don't trust yourself even more. And in that case, it might be even you not doing anything and you not feeling like you want to do anything. So how do you develop a positive self-talk? One of the great ways that I'm using is a gratitude journal. This gratitude journal is a process that is gradual and systematic rather than really fast. It's not really fast, but the results are very big, especially towards the end of this exercise. So what you can do is take a notepad or a journal, and at the end of each day write 5 things that you're really grateful for regarding yourself. And these things can be really small things and does not have to be something big or grandiose, right? So for example, you might be grateful for the fact that you're a very calm person, that you have good manners, or that you're a good mother or something like that. It does not have to be something big. So you can do this exercise for 30 days and I guarantee you, you're not going to only feel better about yourself, but also your negative self-talk is going to diminish its power. So the gremlin, the small gremlin that is telling you nasty things every single day is going to become smaller and smaller and smaller and weaker and weaker and weaker, which is exactly what you want, right? So why is gratitude so effective? Well, the thing is, it's working with momentums, and 2 momentums at the same time. So basically, it's not only diminishing the power of the negative momentum, but also increasing the power of the positive one. And they always work together. The stronger one is, the weaker the other one is. And in the past, if your negative self-talk was powerful, well, that means that automatically the positive one was really weak. And now what you're doing, you're increasing the power of this one, automatically decreasing the power of this one. Alright, thank you very much for investing your time in this video. I really appreciate that. Also, if you have any questions or suggestions, please let me know in the comment section below. As promised, here's the summary, and see you in the next video.